All right, co-main event. We talked about it. Alan Crowder and Greg Hardy. I don't want to get. I don't know how to get so too in depth about this. I mean, Greg Hardy's 3-0 professionally. 2 of his wins have come on the Dana White Tuesday Night Contender Series. He hasn't seen anyone really high level yet. Alan Crowder has a loss to Justin Willis. But other than that, he was on like a win streak of I think 8 wins maybe or something like that, or 7 or 6, something like that. I don't know a whole lot about the guy. I've only ever seen him fight twice. But I will say this. He has a tendency after he throws punches to leave his chin hanging in the air and not move his head. And when you're fighting a guy like Greg Hardy who has serious knockout power, that's a problem. Got to get that head movement. But if this is tough because I do think Hardy, if they get into this is what Crowder should do, because if you watch his fight on the Contender Series, he reads things coming at him very well. Like, he moves his head and he gets out of the way of shots and he counters really well, right? And he'll come back with things, and he's constantly reading, and he's able to gauge distance well, just slipping out of the way of punches and coming back and, throwing something else back at him. But he has to fight that fight for, in my opinion, 3 rounds. You got to drag Hardy into deep water and get him tired and let him try, because he's aggressive. He's going to be looking for the knockout, I'm sure. So try to lure him into some traps, counter him. Don't put yourself in extreme danger. Get in and out quickly. I say that about a lot of fights, right? Get in and out, but it's important. A lot of guys, they get in and they throw their exchanges, and our instructor talks about this all the time at kickboxing. They sit there and admire their work, and that's a problem, because when you do that, that's when your opponent is going to be firing things back at you. You have to move your head afterwards. You can't sit there and see what damage you were doing. So if Crowder can move I don't like him getting into exchanges with, you know what I mean? I think the way that he wins this fight is by tiring Hardy out, but I think at some point there's going to be an exchange that's probably thrown, and it's going to leave Crowder open. I think that Hardy will have more significant knockout power, and I think he's going to land at some point. But that's how I see the fight playing out. I think Hardy's probably going to win via KO or TKO, and if I'm Crowder, though, I'm kind of doing a little bit of what John did to Gustafsson for the first 2 rounds. I'm okay with moving backwards. I'll let him come to me. I'm reading what he's doing. I'm getting a feel for, and there's a good possibility that with Greg Hardy being new, the more that you frustrate him, the more mistakes that he'll start to make, because he'll make mistakes out of frustration. So if you can dodge his punches, he'll start doing fundamental things wrong, and that's when you can start picking him apart, because you got more fights than him. You got more fight experience. That matters. You got to use that. You can't get into a firefight with a guy like this. He hits too fucking hard.